Good evening. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. I am. I've just woken up from a siesta, so yeah, hence my bed hair and all that. But I've woken up and I've read a couple of stories about Jose Mourinho, and there's conflicting stories actually. Some are saying that Ralph and Haley doesn't like him. They don't like each other. They haven't spoken to each other for years, which we all know is complete and utter rubbish, because he was actually a guest of Raul's in the box the other day. For some reason, chat's not coming through, so I don't know why that is. I can literally see up to Adam Rowland's tweet saying waiting for numbers to build up. Yeah, so after that, there's not a single chat come through, so I don't know what's going on with that. But listen, there is 240 odd of you watching live, so if I can't see any chat, bear with me because it might just pop back up in a minute. But the other side of the story is that that Raul has actually been out for dinner with him last week with Jose, and he is very keen on giving him the job. Now, I've always said that I'd take Jose, but I am going to stick my head out of the block, on the block, sorry, and I'm actually going to say I'm Emery out. After yesterday, that stream I did with Olo as well, by the way, and Cheek, it was a good stream, but I just wanted to go off of that stream ASAP. It was just like, you know, when you sit there and look back at it, they had 25 shots. You're giving up 25 shots to Wolverhampton Wanderers at home, regardless of whether they're a good team. You know, yeah, you could understand that if it was Man City. You can maybe understand if it was Liverpool as well. You know, both of them two teams are absolutely ridiculous at the minute. But when it is when it's Wolves and you've given up 30 odd shots to Watford, you've dropped 7 points in the last 3 games. Your performances ain't great. The substitutions have been ridiculous. Like yesterday, why are you taking off Lucas Torreira and bringing on Bukayo Saka? Why are you substituting with 3 minutes to go a left back for a left back when you need a goal? I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. And yesterday was the final straw. So yeah, I am now jumping on that bandwagon, and I am Emery out. Jose in. For me, I've seen a lot of people, like I said, for anyone joining late, I can't see any comments. I don't know why. I'm going to have a look at some Wi-Fi next week and see if I can get this sorted, because obviously I need to read these comments out. Obviously, it's hundreds of you putting your stuff in there and I want to read them out, but it's literally none in there. So as for Jose, I've seen a lot of people yesterday on the stream, other streams that I've done, saying that they don't want him anywhere near the club. He's a disgrace. He's past it. He's finished. He don't play the youth. He's a boring manager, boring tactics, defensive defense. Can I just say this, right? He is the exact kind of manager we need right now. We need somebody who's going to come in and fix the defense. We haven't had a good defense at this club for years. And I'm not talking like 5 years. I am talking, what, maybe 2008 season was the last time we had a decent defense. If Eduardo hadn't got injured that season, we might have gone on and won the league. But we had a good defence that year. You know, other than that, the defence has been appalling year in, year out, every year since. And that's a decade now. Jose is also the kind of character that will come in and not play up to any egos. We've seen that. He had Pogba at Man United. He had Pogba dropped week after week after week, didn't want to play him until he fixed his attitude. And people can say, oh, yeah, but he left Man United in a mess and he's done this and he's done that. Man United were a mess when he went there. They're a bigger mess since he's left. You've only got to look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who is out of his depth. And I think that in some ways, I think Unai Emery's out of his depth. You know, if you go back to the back end of last season, them last 8 games of the season, the Europa League final, and the way we've started this season, if you add all of that up, that's about, what, half a season in terms of games? It's not good enough. It's not good enough. We're not playing great football. Not that I care about playing pretty patterns and all that. It's a results-driven business. Jose Mourinho gets results. Jose Mourinho can fix the defence. So for me, all day long, why wouldn't we take him? You know, the guy's come in, or can come in. He's been at Real Madrid. He's been at Chelsea. He's been at Manchester United. He's been at Inter Milan and Porto. Don't forget Porto, obviously. But in terms of massive clubs managed, he's managed a lot of massive clubs. Now, whether you think Chelsea are good or anything, or whether you think they're better than us, regardless, they're still a big football club. Real Madrid, you can't get much bigger than that. You know, they're the biggest club in the world, and he's managed them. He's won stuff everywhere he's been, including Man United. That team that finished second, that he got to second in the league, that he said it himself, that was his biggest achievement, and that was because that team were crap. The players they had in that squad weren't great, and he got them to second in the league. He won them the Europa League, and he's won them a League Cup. Jose would come in and fix that defence overnight, and I think that he would fix us going forward as well, because if you look at our team and our players on paper, they look decent, don't they? But the problem is, and big up Kenny Ken as well. I see Kenny Ken's fan cam yesterday. I'm sorry, Afsal. Big up Kenny Ken. I see Kenny Ken's, but Afsal's fan cam. Our fan base overrate a lot of these players, and he said that on the fan cam yesterday with Robbie. Kenny Ken made some great points as well, but that stuck with me. This fan base does overrate players. Lucas Torreira, for as good as he is, has not been great since Christmas. He's not. And, he come back from that injury, come back around Christmas time, and he hasn't been great. Our fans go on like he's the best defensive midfielder in world football. Yes, he's a very good defensive midfielder, but he ain't a great defensive midfielder. There's so many times, Kenny said it, where he's standing there and he's just watching the ball getting whipped into the box. He's not tracking back, he's just ball watching. And he does it quite a lot. There's other players that we overrate. I'm not going to go through the whole lot. I'll be here all day. Nearly 700 people watching live. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'll reiterate, I can't see a single comment after the one about Adam Rowlands put in ages ago. So if you're putting comments in, putting super chats in, I do apologise. I can't see them, which is a shame, because I wanted to do this stream for about half an hour. But obviously, if I'm not going to see any input from you guys on my end, then it won't be half hour long, because I'll get bored of my own voice by then. But at the end of the day, the way I see it is, if you want a manager to come in and fix our defence, which is a big problem. It's been our problem for a decade, like I just said. There's no better manager out there than Jose. He'll come in, he'll get that team set up defensively. Now, people can sit there and go, yeah, but, we should be playing attacking football. Nah, we need to be playing winning football. And winning football is not what we're getting right now. Yes, people can sit here and say, yeah, but under Wenger, at home, we were playing free-flowing football. Away, we were poor, and blah, blah, blah. The defence was still shocking. It was shocking. Yes, we'd go and beat teams 3 or 4 sometimes, but it wasn't like we're blowing teams out the water every week, and we were conceding way too many sloppy goals back then. Then Emery's come in. Even when Emery went on the run, the 22 games or whatever it was, unbeaten, we were still conceding a lot of goals. This season, we're conceding stupid goals again. Yesterday, that goal was just ridiculous. Tierney and Ceballos switched off of that throw-in. Tierney was standing there watching. Ceballos was watching. And the guy had a free cross into the box. And then Socrates was ball watching, and Callum Chambers didn't read it quick enough. So between them 4, that weren't good enough yesterday. And that, regardless of the other 24 shots that Wolves had yesterday, it weren't good enough. We shouldn't be sitting here going, oh, yeah, well, Wolves have had 25 shots and, we've drawn one. No. Crystal Palace, Wolves, Watford, we should be battering teams like that. And even if you don't batter them, make sure that when you're 1-0 up, you see the game out. Now, I'd love to sit here and put a load of questions out to you, but obviously I can't see all the answers. So I'm going to ask the question. And hopefully when I do my stream at 9 o'clock, which I will be doing, and hopefully the comments section will work, I'm going to put this question out there. If we had got a 2-goal lead against Watford and Jose was manager, would we have lost? Drawn. And nearly lost. If we got a 2-goal lead against Crystal Palace, would we have drawn under Jose Mourinho? If we had a lead yesterday at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers, would we have drawn under Jose Mourinho? If the answer is no, we wouldn't to all 3 of them, why wouldn't you take Jose Mourinho? Some clever idiot will say, oh yeah, but we wouldn't have been 2-0 up because he's too defensive. Complete rubbish. His Chelsea team, and I know it's going back a very long time ago, got more points, more goals than Arsenal Invincibles. They were ridiculous, but they were well drilled defensively. Yes, they had fantastic players all over the pitch, granted. But we've got fantastic players in certain positions. Kieran Tierney's a very good defender. Hector Bellerin, not recently, but he has been a good defender for us over the time he's been here in fits and bursts. He's coming back off a bad injury. Rob Holding's a very good centre-back. He didn't show it the other night up at Anfield, but he is a very good centre-back. David Luiz can be a very good centre-back. Then you go into midfield and you go through the players we've got in midfield. You can even throw Ozil in there. I said Ozil was man of the match yesterday. I've seen people laughing at that. Well, listen, I say it as it is. And I say my honest opinion. I thought he was man of the match yesterday. Yeah, the other night, I don't think he was that great. And I got dogs abuse for that. Oh, how did you give him a 6 against Liverpool? Well, because he weren't great. Yesterday, he was man of the match. You know, and maybe a.f.c. is right when he says this. We do overrate our players, but we have got very good players. It's just some of the players let us down time and time again. The same faces let us down week in, week out. And then when they're not in the team, individual lapses like yesterday, Ceballos and Tierney ball watching, Socrates ball watching. Callum Chambers, I'll probably allow him for that goal because it weren't his man, and he just didn't get over quick enough. But too many players in this squad ball watch. They don't track runners. They don't do their jobs properly. Under Jose Mourinho, I personally think that he would take us such a higher level. I'm not saying we'd compete for a title. I ain't stupid, right? But we'd be doing a hell of a lot better than we're doing now. We wouldn't have been losing to Sheffield United. We wouldn't have drawn to Palace, Wolves, Watford. You know, we would have had maybe another 8-9 points. You know, who knows? Who knows what we would have had? But I genuinely think that there's a lot worse manager out there than Jose Mourinho. So why not go and get Jose Mourinho? He's available. He lives around the corner in London. He's managed some massive football teams. Why not go and get him? You know, people can sit out there and say, well, yeah, this and that. He don't play, whatever. Who cares? Listen, I don't care whether it's attacking football. I want winning football. And winning football is not what we're being served up right now. We're being served up boring football, and it is boring because we're not winning. If we're winning and we're playing like that, it's not boring because winning's not boring, is it? But when you're playing losing football or drawing football and you're not playing great, then yeah, the fans are going to be on your case. And it's took me a long time to get to this. Listen, I didn't want to get to the point where I was Emery out. I've backed him. I've backed him for over 18 months now, yeah? But 7 points dropped in the last 3 games is not acceptable, especially to the teams we have played against. Sheffield United, Palace and Wolves. Sorry, that ain't good enough. I know Wolves beat Man City at home before anyone says that. I know that Sheffield United nearly got something against Liverpool. They got a draw at Chelsea. And Crystal Palace, well, listen, they always get something against us, don't they? But the mentality at this club is wrong in terms of the players, the managing, the management. And if Ralston Haley has got anything about him, we're about to find out, because I'll tell you something, I can see Emery getting sacked. It'll be a shame, but I ain't going to lose any sleep over it. You know, we haven't got that attachment to him like we had with Wenger, or once had with Wenger. But yeah, it's kind of sad that it's going to come to an end, but it's definitely going to come to an end. And I don't think they'll sack him this week. I think they'll see out the Europa League, probably see out the Leicester game, and then I think he'll be gone. Because let's be honest, does anyone see us getting a result at Leicester right now? I don't. And it's a shame, really. But there's too many players in that squad. Granit Xhaka is another one. You know, 5 days to come out with, was it even an apology? It was more of an excuse as to why he'd done it. Why has that been allowed? You know, has he been fined any wages for that? Nobody knows. Is he still the captain? Nobody knows. Why have we got 5 captains? What a weird scenario. You should have 1 club captain and 1 vice captain. You know, there's been a lot of things that I've just looked at recently, and I thought, you know what, man, this guy, this job's too big for him. And it is a big club. We are a massive football club, massive global fan base. Some of you guys that were watching my watch along yesterday were sitting there at 3 o'clock in the morning. Some of you had woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch that, you know, and you're waking up at that sort of time in the morning. If you can't get to games and whatever, even if you live in the UK and you're still watching it, you're sitting there week in, week out, putting in your time, your dedication to the club. Whether you can get to the games or not is irrelevant. You're still paying out your membership fee for Sky Sports, BT Sport, things like that. So you are still paying in, regardless of what anybody tells you. You are paying in, whether you go or not. You know, and you're being served up crap, and it's not good enough. It's not acceptable, and it's a shame it's gone the way it's gone, because I genuinely thought Emery was going to come in and it was going to be, yeah, we've now got a decent manager. And for the first half of last season, I thought, wow, this is all right. Even though, you know, I was sitting at some of the games and I was seeing us play absolute rubbish, we somehow found a way to go and win the game. yeah, or get a draw. You know, the away form wasn't great again last season, but it picks up a little bit. And the mentality of these players and the manager yesterday, all he does when we're losing a game is just strokes his chin. What's that all about? How about get off your